welcome everybody to this evening's Master Plan Steering Committee. Happy to see you all. So before we kind of get into the agenda, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Is anyone on Zoom tonight?
I don't know. Have we checked
Do
the
we
Zoom?
have the Zoom up?
Did anybody say they were coming on Zoom? Who's
No,
not here?
no one said they were going to come by Zoom, but
Okay.
we still had it just in case last minute.
We're missing,
We're missing Bob
Missing Bob and Will.
Would you like us to pull it up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just
Okay.
to,
You want me to? or
Yeah,
do you want-
oh God, yeah.
I know they sent out the link.
right.
Oops. Oh, good her. She pulled it up for us. That was easy. Okay. Let's see if anybody's there.
Wow, that's bright on the camera.
Put my butt in.
I think we all did the same thing.
God, I think it looks great.
Wow, that 10 pounds really, really adds it. All right.
Oops.
Can you make it smaller?
Yeah, there. Right there.
Mike, there's no one on Zoom though, right?
Doesn't appear to be.
Okay, thank you. All right. Folks, I just wanted to kind of, before we kind of get into our agenda, and, go to public comment, I just have a sort of really short kind of statement to make, because really over the last week, I've been asked, why are we updating Londonderry's master plan? Yeah, I think it's a good question, and I want to just take that time to address it. Updating our master plan is not only essential for addressing the significant changes our community has experienced between both 2012 and 2014 and 2024, but it's also crucial for ensuring compliance and statutory requirements and adopting to new regulations. So over the past 12 years, we've seen notable shifts in population demographics with an influx of families, retirees, and seasoned residents, which has increased demand for housing, education, and our public services. This population growth necessitates thoughtful planning to manage land use and infrastructure effectively, catering to the needs of all ages and populations within our community. Economically, our town has experienced considerable growth, particularly with the expansion of various areas and the development of new business parks, reshaping our local economy and employment landscape. These developments require updated zoning regulations and land use policies, which can only be effectively addressed through a revised master plan. Environmental concerns have also become more pressing, especially in the areas of stormwater management, conservation of open spaces, and sustainability initiatives. New state regulations and local ordinances have been introduced to address these issues, and compliance with these regulations often require the guidance provided by an updated master plan. Moreover, technological advancements, such as the rise of remote work, have changed how we live and work, necessitating upgrades to our digital infrastructure and transportation planning. Addressing these changes requires a proactive approach, guided by an updated and current master plan. New Hampshire law recognizes the importance of a master plan as the foundation for zoning, land use, and regulatory decisions. Without an updated master plan, Londonderry may struggle to implement necessary statutory changes or take full advantage of state and federal funding opportunities designed to support community development. This time, our approach will differ significantly from the one taken in 2012. As we all recall and have read, our 2012 is very comprehensive. We will take a strong emphasis on our community engagement, ensuring that the voices of residents, businesses, and other stakeholders are heard throughout the planning process. Additionally, we will integrate additional data-driven analysis to better understand trends so we can better predict future needs. We'll also prioritize sustainability and resilience, embedding these principles into every aspect of our planning to ensure Londonderry is well prepared for the challenges of the coming decades. It's important to recognize the dedicated work our town and our town council have done to address the many concerns that are raised day to day by our citizens. While these themes may or may not emerge within our master plan, they are nonetheless vital to our community's ongoing progress. And I thank all of those that have addressed those. The agility and responsiveness of our town council, our town staff, and the many volunteer boards that guide our town are truly commendable. Their efforts not only reflect a deep commitment to our community, but also make the work of updating our master plan considerably more exciting and impactful. By updating our master plan with these new approaches, the Londonderry can effectively navigate demographic, economic, environmental, and technological changes, ensuring that we meet statutory requirements and adapt to new regulations. The process is essential for guiding sustainable growth, enhancing our quality of life, and preserving the unique character of our community that we all love. So, I think that answers that question.
Well put, Mr. Chair.
Any comments or?
Thank you.
Well,
thank
thank you for putting it together.
Yeah, I think we're certainly in the right direction. We talked a little bit about it last night at the planning board towards the end of the meeting, and I think this is a very important step that we need to take as a town. Help us get to the next the future of Londonderry here. So, well said, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. There's no further comments. I'll open the floor for public comment. We do have obviously our agenda, and in the spirit of community feedback, obviously we encourage public comment. We do want to ensure that we stay focused and stay on definitely tasks. If you have any repetition items or anything along those lines, just be brief, get to your point, and definitely have fun. So, anyone for public comment? Mr. Wilson.
I'm here tonight. John Wilson, I live on Tranquil Drive. I came here tonight because of the fourth item on your agenda in terms of what I interpreted as you're going to cut back on the size of the survey. Okay. And I'm on the Senior Resource Committee, and one of our projects that we're attempting to take on is to look and see if there's a need for more transportation opportunities in town. So rather than do our own survey, when we saw your survey in total, you have a good substantive section on transportation. And I'm here to ask you not to take it out of the survey when you do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm here to listen.
Come on, Ray.
Okay.
Wear 'em out.
But don't feed
All right, thank you.
Don't feed the bears.
So if there's no one else for
Bear needs
public
to learn
comment,
that.
let's
Ray,
jump
appreciate
right
listeners too.
Let's jump right into, let's first do administrative board work of reviewing and approving our minutes from, we'd need to approve two sets, one from 8-1 and one from 8-8. Did everyone have the
Go
opportunity?
do them one at a time.
Yes, yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for August 1st, 2024.
You weren't here.
Second it?
Jake, you weren't here.
You weren't here.
I wasn't here.
Not on
You were
your-
not
Oh,
here.
you were in Virginia.
Yeah.
Can I still make the motion?
Yes.
You
I can still make the motion. I just have to abstain from the
Voting.
from the
Copy.
vote itself. Thank you. Not used to missing meetings. Doesn't happen much.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstentions? Jake? Excellent.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from 8/8/2024.
I'll second it.
Second by Sean.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Christie, you were,
I was not here that day.
but you
I will
also,
abstain.
but you drafted them, so.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Knows him better than all of us.
Conflict of interest. I watched it on TV.
thank you. All right. All right, so let's get right into item number 4, the feedback we've on the master plan survey and such. So Sylvia, do you want to take us?
Yeah, and in this, I'll also address John's question or request. So we got a lot of feedback. Thanks for everybody for providing feedback. And one of the, I think, loudest voices we heard, combined voices, was, this is long. And it was long because it addressed pretty much every section in the entire master plan. So in a conversation with Jeff, sorry about my back.
Nope, not at all.
What we talked about was really focusing this initial survey on the top tier. And this group had already determined the 3 top tiers, being top tier being the most pressing, which was land use, demographics, and housing. And so what we did was we took all the comments that we received and we did a focus on that section. We also, because of the way it sort of worked out, there were some general questions as well as the regional questions, and they fit well with those. So now instead of taking about 15 to 20 minutes to do the survey, it now takes about 5, although if you do every single question and write like several sentences, it could take you to about 10 minutes. So the transportation section will come in about, we'll see that in about 5 months or so from now, 6 months or so from now, and we'll revisit that because I'm not sure which tier transportation is in. Anyway, it will come in the next, they'll follow the tiers that this group. And not only is that a benefit that it's shorter, but what we will do is we will learn about how people feel, about the different, their thoughts on these top tiers, and it'll really help guide the next surveys and to see what's important in the next topics. And I think that's a really good sort of, we'll get those lessons learned and we'll be able to utilize that in the future. And if it works out for the group, I can jump right onto that shorter version right now. Would that work?
One question, Sylvia. if you could.
Yes, John.
If we're going to do that, and I know this was to be anonymous in terms of the folks completing the surveys, but would it be to our advantage to capture names or maybe email addresses so that when you send up the next survey for the next tier, we can make sure we hit those early adopters, I guess would be a word we could use, and make sure we get surveys to them particularly?
Good question. So yes, it's anonymous, and we do have now the last fill-in is an option for someone to provide their contact info. So if they want to stay involved, they have that option.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to.
Yeah, sure. They'll just come up to the
John, can you come
Can
up to the mic
just
so
come-
that we can hear you?
I normally would agree with exactly the logic that Sylvia's just mentioned. The only issue I have with that is the committee is working towards determining whether or not to put a warrant article on the March ballot. And with the timing of this and doing the transportation survey later, that will probably negate being able to get a warrant article on, which would mean we'd have to wait another year to deal with this issue, which we think is relatively important to the town.
Mr. Wilson, I appreciate that and respect it. Warrant articles are out of scope for this committee. And kind of having, it's the opinion of the chair that, having that the data received from the steering committee to impact plans while that's the ultimate goal, I don't see us being ready for that, no matter in any kind of element. So I'm just wanting to, it was definitely not we're not looking to influence warrant articles for this year.
Okay. Upset.
All right, so we may need to go to a couple of the other items first, since I believe this looks like the longer version. Yeah,
Yeah, the one in the packages are long.
that's the longer version.
What was the other link there?
That link was to the group discussion.
Okay, let me go see if I can.
It should have come up. I mean, Alicia sent it to everybody. It came from Suzanne, so.
Perfect.
If you see that link from Suzanne. All right, so while Mike is working on that, let's go to a couple easy items. Let's talk about the logo.
Consensus?
I think it's phenomenal.
Absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah, that's great.
Martha? We got people.
I mean, I'll go along with it, but I really think the logo is not a big deal at all for
Okay.
this committee. That's not where my focus is on the logo.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a
All
nice
right,
logo.
so it sounds like we have consensus?
We have
So-
thumbs up?
Thumbs up?
Absolutely.
What's the grid in the background? Is that gonna go away?
Yeah, that will
Yes.
go away.
Yeah.
It's a watermark.
That's the watermark.
All right, see, I told you this would be easy. We're gonna fly through this now.
All right, well, hold on a second. Let me get to the
Let's see,
logo.
a couple of things. Let's look at our agenda. Oh, okay, outreach. Oh, this one is going to involve some discussion, so here we go. So on Saturday, as we set up the booth, and we'll talk about some of the practical issues in a minute, we're going to ask kids to do one thing. We'll show that in a minute. And then we're going to ask adults to do, or whoever, older people, to do answer a question. And so this group, we proposed 3 questions for the group. And mind you, I have a very large map of Londonderry, so that what they can do is, I have all kinds of stuff I've already packed. Little dots to show where they live, so that's one activity. So we'll see where they live. And then the questions I want the group to please consider is, what is missing in Londonderry? What makes Londonderry special? What are Londonderry community qualities that should be preserved? So, have at it.
So how are we going to get these answers? People going to write them down on
They'll write them,
card
okay,
or
so
something?
depending on the question you want to focus on, there's 2 methods. I have a big pad people can write on, or I have stickies, they can write their answer and stick it on. Let's say, what's missing? Oh, well, you'll see in a minute, I have a youngster who wants a racetrack in Londonderry. And so you can write racetrack and put it where you want it to be in Londonderry, in Bob's backyard. So that's where it's gonna go.
Fine with me.
So that's what we can do. And so I have tape to tape them, so to secure them, the whole thing. But we really need to decide, what is the question? So, and each one kind of brings up different ideas, right? The what is missing in Londonderry. I also like what makes Londonderry special. And we also have to think, how are you going to use the information later on? What will be helpful for you as a group, as residents? How is this going to guide the master plan? I think what's missing guides the master plan quite a bit. Then there's what is special and what community qualities should be preserved. So, thoughts?
Personally, I think they're really great questions, and they're simple, direct, and they're tied to the survey. So, I'm first in line here, but I think the questions are fine. personally.
Which one would you choose, Bob?
Probably A.
A, okay.
Yeah.
What's missing?
What was
Mark,
A again?
I like the what's missing because, like the third question, what needs to be preserved, I can almost anticipate what the answers are because they're the same question we ask every time we do a survey, and it comes up the same. Keep Londonderry green. That's like the theme. So I don't think we gain a lot of information from that question, but the missing one, I think,
What's
could
missing?
produce some surprises.
So you're also for missing. Christy, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts, I also am for missing, but then coming from the previous meeting, one of the things that we had asked was, where's the heart of Londonderry? And I'm wondering if maybe there are heart stickers that you can pass out in addition to put this dot where you live and put this heart where you think the heart is.
I have different shapes.
I can
don't
Bring
have
heart
hearts
stickers. I
at the
did sign
moment.
up
Yeah.
for,
So
helping
I
you.
have little stars and, I think what we said was, what is the heart? We also
Yeah.
said, where is the heart? There were two
Mhm.
sort of versions of that.
Yes.
All right. That's an idea, Jeff?
Yeah, no, the question I would absolutely, look to is what is missing in Londonderry? I really don't have anything else to say about that.
It's all good, man.
Jake, what are your
Brevity's
thoughts?
king.
I think I have to agree with Jeff and Christie, though. I do like the idea, one has a little bit more substance to it. What is missing? You're looking for a little bit more of a response, whereas, I think the where is the heart or what is the heart of Londonderry is, I think it's good to know, to see, my thought of it might be different than somebody else. I just think that's a really cool thing to know, you know what I mean? And I think we'll get some really cool locations out of that. I guess one's location specific, the other one's a little bit more broad, so wouldn't be opposed to both of them.
Okay,
But certainly missing over the other one.
okay. Lynn, what are your thoughts?
So my thought is B, what makes Londonderry special? And I say that because I think it's kind of a positive question. What's missing is kind of a negative question. And I kind of want to know what we're doing right and what we can build on that
What's
we're doing
missing
right.
is important.
All right, so some thoughts there. Sean?
I think we should have one question just to maintain focus. And when it comes into what do we get out of missing versus what makes it special, I think missing is the bigger gap. Like what makes it special, that might be, okay, keep doing what you're doing, which is okay. But when we find out what's missing, we find out what somebody really needs. So I guess put my vote on the side of a milk carton. I want to know what's missing.
I have a question, though, Mr. Chair. We're not looking at one question. We're looking at 3, possibly 5. Is that correct?
Wrong?
No.
We are
One
wanting to
question?
focus,
On
yes.
one.
One question. I didn't get that. Okay.
Yeah,
Are you changing your response now?
No.
Okay.
Still A. And I agree with Sean completely. I think
That was well put.
the hard
Sean.
path is A.
okay.
So.
Martha, what are your thoughts? Oh, my God. Sorry.
Charge!
I'm just gonna put a reminder, if you have a cell phone, please silence it.
Ouch.
I kind of agree with Lynn on this. I think what makes Londonderry special, I like that it's more positive, and I think that we will get feedback of what people like about the town. Missing, I don't know, that's going to be a million different answers. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and as far as a million different answers, that's okay. I wouldn't worry too much about that part, because I think special, you'll also get a huge variety. I mean, that's what we want. We want to hear from all different walks of life, all different experiences, but, what we do with that in the end, that's, how can that help guide the master plan? I think that's the question. John, what are your thoughts?
I'll be honest with you, wearing my heritage hat, my first reaction is what should be preserved. But listening to the rest of the group, I think I lean a bit towards what makes Londonderry special. I have a feeling what is missing will solicit a lot of comments about things that we don't have and are probably beyond the scope of the plan and this committee, as opposed to what makes it special, which captures a little bit of what should be preserved. So it lets me wear that hat, but maybe captures also a little bit of, boy, I wish we had in the responses. So I would go with B.
I'm wondering if the group would mind if I asked our visitors here? That way we have an idea what, okay.
Absolutely.
If you would go to the mic and share your thoughts? On those 3 questions? I do want to pick one.
Okay. I would take what makes Londonderry special, because that's a thought-provoking question, which hopefully they'll spend more than 30 seconds to answer. The other questions you can answer relatively quickly, but what makes them special, I'd have a difficult time trying to answer that question right now without giving it really some thought.
Right? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think what makes Londonderry special, and a lot of people are going to have different answers to that, but we're supposed to be listening to the people, and that is important. Like John said, that could include historical things too, in addition to other really important things. You know, it could be about sport things, other activities, and somebody might even say something about the Lions Hall. You know, who knows? Who knows? You know, you're going to get different answers. And so what makes Londonderry special, I think is important.
Thank you. Mike?
Sylvia? I'm just wondering, it seemed to me that there was a question within the survey, and I think I saw the shorter
Yes.
version, that asked that same question.
Exactly, it is.
So, you know, I don't know. We're going to be able to capture that. So,
Are you saying the special or the missing?
special, I
Special.
think.
The special is in the
It's
survey.
verbatim in the survey.
Okay.
So is preserve.
Mike, I want to put you on the spot.
Would be the first time that's happened. So I think, you know, I missed the like half of this discussion, but I think that, I mean, if you ask what is missing in Londonderry, you're probably not going to hear like banks and you know, multifamily residential development. You might, but I mean, I think that I think there's a list of items that are responsive to that question that are fairly predictable. I mean, and I think that I sort of echo what John said about what makes Londonderry special. I do think that makes people dig deep and you know, kind of articulate why they're here, why they came here, why they've stayed here, and I think that is potentially more useful than asking people for amenities that they. I think that you're going to get a list of amenities for the most part in response to what's missing.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're at a even, Steven, 6-6 on that one. I'm not going to break your tie. So, right, so half of you agree what is missing, and half of you agree what makes Londonderry special. The one thing that I will point out that I think maybe, I forget who said it, but the missing does kind of might go to a wish list, that I think that aspect had a good point, that you can't always fulfill that. Anyway,
That convinced me. I think it's more valuable to find out what's special than to find out a wish list.
I
think
agree
if you
with
went
that.
through the board again, I'd probably go to what's special.
Yeah, I would as well. And the reason being was actually the comments pretty much everyone's made there is we can build on that. It's actionable, and we can tie it back to the data we're collecting.
All right, so I'm getting that what makes Londonderry special is our question. All right, so,
I would also imagine that as we're, throughout the day, we are going to hear what is missing.
You're right.
So
Definitely.
So
That's a really good point.
Those are going to be data points that we'll want to capture as we're manning the booth.
so that's the outreach activity for the adults, and I wanted to show the outreach activity for kids. They're going to color in their apple.
Wait, that's mine.
And we happen to have two very, very young visitors up in the planning department today. And I asked them if they would draw in their apples for me. And what they always wanted for in Londonderry. And this little boy would like a race course. And he drew a car. He really wanted a purple car with yellow flames, but or something like that. But I just love the spelling of race course, and so I wanted to showcase that's what we're going to do. I had originally done 50, and then Mike laughed at me, and so now I have 200, and I'll be hanging these as they go. And whoever volunteers there, you'll see little strings up, and we'll be hanging these as they go. So I just wanted to show you, if everybody's happy with this kid thing, yeah, good, because I already made the copies. And so thanks for giggling.
I
All right.
wanted to go back, though, to the where you're going to get the information, and it was stickies or a big pad.
Yes.
Personally, I'm voting for the big pad, and I'll tell you why. I think the stickies are going to, even though there's tape and everything to secure them, that makes a lot of work for who's ever in the booth. They're hanging things, they're doing this, they're doing that. If we're just writing things on a big pad, then we can take the pad back with us, and we can have that to work with.
We can, I think, Martha, having done sort of trying to encourage people to participate. Some people want to be on their own. They want to take that little pad and they just want to write and they don't want to talk. That's what they want. Some people are going to talk and they're going to be there for 15 minutes and they're going to tell you all about Londonderry and their experience. And the pad may be better for them because you're like, thank you, and I'll write that down. So everybody's, I think, something for everybody, because there are folks that just, they're like, okay, thank you, I'll do that, and just like, now leave me alone.
Oh, so you're going to do both?
We're doing both.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Stickies are great for introverts. If they see you have to talk to somebody for like 10 minutes, they're like dodging that booth. It's like I can write it, stick it, walk off. Perfect.
Yeah.
Not for me, but for
They can,
other people.
they can sneak it in while you're
Yeah.
not looking.
no, Where'd that
Yeah.
come from?
Plus, you're able to obviously group the stickies and
Stickies are great for interest.
Yeah.
like
Well,
into relevant themes and stuff like that.
And it's great to have activity at the booth. And so if the more activity, the better, the bigger the draw to the booth. And that's why I always want 2 people there at all times, because, one, then you can chat with each other when there's nothing, but also that's, you're both working it, and everybody has a different style. I'm very talkative. I try to engage people. I practically take a hook and drag them in. Other people are very standoffish and just sort of wait for people to come to them. So everybody's got their own style. Are we ready to move on to, thanks to Mike, what we have up on the screen?
Yep.
All right, this is the shorter version. Very simple intro. It says here 10 minutes. I think it can be done much shorter than that, and closer to 5.
Took me 5 minutes.
Took you 5. Excellent, Bob. Thank you for timing yourself.
Should we change that on there because 10 minutes could dissuade some people?
Yeah,
I can have Tammy do that tomorrow. So, okay, 5.
2 to 4.
Under 5.
Maybe.
Under 5 minutes. All right. So, much of this is very similar to what you have seen. This is the demographics. We've brought that map into play. Where do you live? Because there's no real boundaries. We didn't put a line across anything. We'll see what people, how they feel, where they live. So here's that map, which applies to you. What type of home do you live in? How long have you lived in Londonderry? Are you hoping to retire in Londonderry? And that was one of the, I don't remember all the comments, but I'm already retired. That was one of them. What's your living situation, your age group? And this is sort of an overarching vision. And we incorporated comments here. These are the open-ended. These are tough for us to analyze, but we did it anyway. What you want to preserve, so we do have that question. What qualities or attributes make Londonderry unique? And then we have this sort of generalized, indicate the importance of the following initiatives. And this covers a variety, so this is sort of a very general.
This does format differently on the phone.
Pardon me?
I did it on my
This is the short, this is the short version.
short version.
The
Right.
other version is real.
This section now focuses on the regional concerns, land use and housing. And so the greatest assets, this is impacts outside of Londonderry. This was a tricky one. We had a lot of comments. We tried to incorporate the best we could. Some people felt some of these were also inside, but what we tried to think about was what's out of Londonderry's control. So that's what we kept. Land use, we're already jumping into land use.
One of the comments or questions that I had on this, it formats slightly different on the phone, but I think it applies and maybe just adds a column. Can we put "don't want" as a response? Like, for example, one of these I think was smaller lots. If I don't want smaller lots, there's no way for me to say that other than don't know or not important.
You just don't check that one.
I think
But that's just a
But-
non-response. It's not it never lets my opinion of I
thinking-
don't want that.
I'm thinking not important, though.
Even if you just maybe do like a line not important / don't want, I don't know, just
know actually how many categories. I'd have to go back and find out.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that Christie's making.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, we should be able to say we don't want it.
Yeah.
But I think if you do that, you have to say yes, no, I think.
it could be.
Because I think just to say I don't care about but what about the yes ones? My big comment was, it applies to anything that's in a survey, and I put that in my comments, is a lot of times when we've done these surveys for our company, we have ranked them 1 to 5. So you say pick 5, but those 5 have no order, so you're just going to get it by volume, saying that 800 people picked this one and 480 picked that one. But I would strongly urge us, before we put this out, to rank. So make people rank them. My number 1, my number 2, my number 3, my number 4.
Yeah.
Because I know I have very strong feelings about some of the 5 I picked. I bet you everybody here does. And there's no way to do that. And you can extract good data. You do it for a living. So you can extract good data by ranking them. Otherwise, it's kind of like, I'm picking 5, and so I'm picking Jeff, and I'm picking, whatever.
Yeah, Bob, I had the same comments as well, as about kind of ranking, and definitely coming from the standpoint of further analysis there. So Sylvia, is it possible to have that, or is that a different version?
So Are you talking about this specific question or another?
Any
question?
question that says pick 5 or
Yeah.
pick 3.
Yeah, so it's a separate question.
I think for
I don't
any
remember
multiple
pick
selection
5 or
question,
pick 3. Did we have a pick 5?
The
or
top
3?
5, yeah.
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
This one?
Yep.
yep,
There's a bunch of them, not just one.
yeah, there
So
were, yeah.
instead of pick 5, you want
No.
to have each one ranking 1 through 5?
Pick your top.
Pick your top
So
5 and
pick
be
your
able
top
to
5
rank
and rank
it.
it. one-
In
so
order of priority.
Instead of it being a check mark, it's 1,
Oh,
2, 3,
rank them.
4.
Yes.
Rank
Right.
Them, yes.
Right.
So like if my top 5, let's say were, my first one is 1, increased traffic. My second one is potential watershed. My third, I put 1 next to increased traffic.
What if, I don't know that we can rank 5, but what if I suggested to Tammy what she'd do is rank these in order of importance, and then you drag them?
We've done
Yeah.
that.
Then
absolutely.
you can have the lower
same
one.
thing.
Yeah,
Would
we,
that
So you
work?
take all 12 of them
You
there and it
take
would.
them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
we've done that. It works really well.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And are we doing that with the next question, or the one that we were just
Anyone
on?
that has
Any
3
of
to 5
these-
choices
Okay, so on,
picks.
all right, so I'm gonna just write question 13.
So anything that says please check up to, it should really say
Up to
please
5.
rank.
Yeah.
Rank 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
In rank of importance.
13,
Yeah.
14. 15 is not that. That's the level of importance.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I just
I-
want to be able to say I don't want it.
Yeah,
We'll look at it.
along those lines, I don't, how many don't knows would you typically get? Because if you don't know, first of all, I
Yeah.
think everybody's gonna have some kind of.
If
an
you don't
opinion.
know, you usually go to not important. You default
Yeah,
to not
not
important.
important.
Or you're
Or you
not gonna,
skip it
or you're not gonna
altogether.
respond, right?
Yeah.
It seems superfluous to me.
Should we, so instead
Change
of I
that to
don't
don't
know,
want.
I don't want.
Yeah.
Is that, okay, I like that. Then we don't have another column, so that's.
Problem solved.
That's
Perfect.
problem solved, thank you. Okay, good to keep moving? Good discussion.
If you ranked them on the top 5, let's say that there's only 3 in there I care about, is there a way to distinguish that, like rank up to 5, or is it?
I don't think so.
You rank as many as you want. If you stop at 2, it's 2.
The problem is it'll be still ranked anyway.
It'll still
generally-
be ranked.
Yeah. Okay, I was just curious.
But
Can
we
you-
could just retrieve the top 5.
Can you
know
put
what
a
I mean? Yeah.
comment?
Well, I'm
box?
saying if only 3 are important to me, you're not gonna know that from the
There
survey,
is
and that's
an
fine.
other.
Surveys.
I see what you're saying, because you still have to rank all
Yeah, good point.
8, 10.
Because the rest
yeah.
of them will be there.
Yeah.
Because I just thought about the don't care, not important, and I'm like, well, how does that apply to the ranking? And then,
I'll ask Tammy. So, most important on top,
I'm gonna propose this, and I'll just see what other people think about it. I actually like that format of important, not important, don't care, more than I like a ranked list. Is there a reason we have some of those ranked and some like that? Because I feel like I get more information out of the other one, but
so you'd rather have them all like this?
yeah, I like that, but
What are
Other people.
people's thoughts on that?
Can you go back to the other one?
Yes, let's go back to 13. What do you feel are Londonderry's greatest regional assets?
There you would do the drop and drag, right? This
This
is a
would be-
different format question. The other
This-
one that you had,
This we're saying, okay, you can, what happens is you drag your most
Yeah.
important ones up. So I think for this question, it's fine for that, because I don't know, I just think the question lends itself to that. This question, though, 14, what impacts from outside Londonderry concern you the most?
That
So
could go
we
the
could
other
say, doesn't concern, concerns slightly, concerns me a lot.
I guess I'll expand on my thinking a little bit. And again, I'm not trying to be pushy if the rest of the people don't think this, but if I see a ranked list, if I rank something 1 through 5, I could totally not care about number 2. If I have the other way, you can clearly see important, 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 or not important, or don't care. And a ranked list 1 through 10 could be very important to me. You just don't,
I see where
it
you're.
doesn't garner a lot of information
I think
as much.
Sean has a really good point
Does.
here. For this question 14, we can certainly do that same thing. I mean, we can do important, but we could also do concern. Which way do you want to go? I think it makes more sense because it asks
Concern,
you
yeah.
concern. So it would be just like this. So very
Very
concerned, concerned, somewhat concerned, not concerned. And then I'm not sure.
And then what,
I
yeah,
think just,
you don't want,
just keep it at 4 too. I mean,
That one, we could
Goes
keep
from
it.
don't want to
Yeah.
don't care.
right? So, I mean, that's the other, I mean, one of the drawbacks with, I agree with actually Sean, and especially that type, these types of questions, and I think, we again, probably get, better answers there,
Okay.
but definitely want to look for efficiencies, and I think those 4 kind of make sense.
Okay, so I think we have consensus on 14, so it'll go from very concerned to not concerned. And then back to number 13, what was the group's thought here? Ranking or?
What about how beneficial are the following regional assets? Very beneficial, not that beneficial?
I could do that.
Yep,
Okay,
I think from a format standpoint, it would be nice to kind of do it, instead of having another way of doing this.
Exactly.
Have
that's
them
what-
Keeping it the same.
uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I agree,
think
it should
we
be
pro-
one thing. If we're
Yeah.
not dropping and dragging, it should all be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
To me, I don't disagree or agree with Sean. I think it's how the data's gonna look when it's mined and put in the report.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Because what you check and how you check, that's great, but it's not what it'll look like when we get the report.
Yeah.
okay.
So I think from a format standpoint, it makes a little more sense to do this, because we're getting it all,
All of them in
Should
the
be the
same
same
format.
yeah,
So they should all look kinda like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, this is how it'll look. All right, then, let's see. What are the most important land use issues that the town departments and boards should prioritize?
Can I ask a question? Do you think, like, everybody knows what land use issues are?
No.
No.
Okay, good point. 16.
So maybe strike, I think I quickly heard strike number 16. Is that what I got?
I'm happy to strike it.
It's either strike it or you give a
I
definition.
think, I think that's one of the most important questions we're asking. We gotta explain it somehow.
It's,
I mean, that's
Okay.
one of the biggest beefs people have in this town. We cannot strike that question, I'm
There's gotta
sorry.
be a different way to
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
All
even
right.
if you give like just the background within the
Yeah.
question of this is what land use issues go around or,
Like zoning,
yeah.
density, open
hard part-
space.
The hard part is if you give,
Yeah,
sometimes you prejudice the survey towards
Yes.
those remarks by providing
That's a
the
good point.
example.
yeah.
I agree, Sean.
one thing that I'm hoping is that in reading these various items that we bring up, they're all about pretty much land use, that will sort of help inspire some kind of
understanding.
What about what are the most significant challenges to the way, the remaining developable land will be developed, and, I think, redevelopment is part of that as well. But I think you could sort of, in a more articulate way, get, how do you want to see the rest of the community built out, if at all?
What about, I like the
Question.
beginning of that. What are the most significant challenges in how Londonderry will grow over the next 10 years?
But I think
I like
that's
the way
too-
Mike put it.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
way Mike put it. I think
I
it
do
was
too.
simple
What are
enough.
the most significant challenges?
No, how do
The
you
way
want to
land will be
see
used.
Londonderry built
How
out?
do you want to see
What are your- what are
Londonderry
your-
built out, if
Yeah.
at all?
If at all.
At all, yeah.
In the future.
in the future? How do you?
Well, everybody's gonna say, don't do it.
right.
That's
Well,
important
that's
feedback to
interesting
have,
that
though.
That's that's a data point.
Yeah.
All right,
That's a data
Christie, I'm going to ask you for the question. What was the question? Because I didn't catch all of it.
Okay, I was formatting, so hold on a second. Let me see if I can channel Mike. So the question 16, is that what we're still, the rewording of it?
Yeah.
How do you want to see Londonderry developed in the future, if at all?
Yeah.
Is that close to what you would?
Maybe, how do you want to see the remaining available land? Or,
There we go. I like that.
I like that. It's very simple.
Yeah.
That only goes towards one thing, though. That doesn't necessarily go towards redevelopment.
Right.
Because I like land
would
use
you-
then better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
How would you like to see Londonderry manage current and future land?
Current and future development.
Land use
Yeah.
is general
Just
enough
the use of
to
land.
cover everything,
use of land.
but we need a better definition of it without examples, which just makes it hard.
Well, the master plan is supposed to help guide growth.
That's key.
And do you say built out? We asked preserved earlier.
I think that's a leading question. I think you just ask him a blank question about what's your vision or what's your opinion about the using or developing open land, current unassigned land. however
Available
you
land.
do it. And you can't dump it out too much. I mean, if people gonna get it, they're gonna get it. They don't, they don't. I mean, you can only do so much, you know what I mean?
Because the other thing that you get into here is remembering that if somebody owns land, they can develop it
Any way they
any
want.
way that they would like.
Within
Upon approval
zoning,
of the
yeah,
planning board and
zoning
within
and-
zoning regulations, so.
Yes, somebody talked about dumbing down, which is right in my alley. How about what should London, a real short, sweet, what should Londonderry do with its remaining buildable space?
I love that.
Yeah.
great.
I love that.
There we go.
John coming in with.
Thank
What
the-
you.
should Londonderry focus
Much.
on?
We can go home now.
Remaining buildable space.
The problem with the buildable space is there's redevelopment
Yeah,
that'll
it's
happen.
still
And
not-
so that really corners that question rather than land use.
But is the answer to redevelopment that much different than what they would do with new space?
Yeah, because when you
Yeah.
ask the question that way,
That
it
way, yeah.
implies scarcity, and that's it. It keeps the person's mind out of redevelopment or changing anything. So they feel like there's only so many parcels left. I've got to figure out what to do with those.
what if you, by way of definition, said that land use laws and regulations affect how land can be developed and redeveloped?
I think I'm falling back to just
What
leaving the
about
question out.
land?
You just
I was
sounded
gonna
like a
say, I
lawyer.
really have to faith in people knowing what land use means.
Every now and then.
It's the use of land. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not complicated.
I think we're just making it harder the more
Yeah.
we try.
Right.
It's probably okay.
Yep, let the answers.
This is really one of the most critical questions we're asking, I'm telling you.
I know.
Everybody in town's talking about this question, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Who's aware of what's going on.
Keep it.
Wow, that was 10 minutes of.
Yeah.
Big circle.
I'll never get that. That was
And,
next
you know
one.
what? You know what? We threw it against the wall.
Yeah.
and we-
And nothing stuck, so.
Yeah.
So we left.
So here's what I have for you. What are the key land use challenges, including development and redevelopment, the town?
I'd still just like to leave
Yeah,
it.
just
I
leave
would
it.
just leave it right as,
Yeah.
at this point, I'd just keep it right as what
Leave it?
16 says.
Yeah.
Leave it well
I
enough
think
alone.
if people don't know what land use is, then we're going to get some interesting answers that might
Yeah.
tell us something else.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
please.
Yes.
After all that, we're leaving it alone? This is how what we do in our office in looking at these questions. We take in all your consideration, and then we're like, it's the battle of the, whatever. It's crazy. Okay, we're now on housing. Which type of housing construction do you feel is needed in Londonderry? None. Londonderry has enough housing, and then all the styles with the different definitions.
Is there a check all that apply? Or is it the question asking which one do you want the most?
It's, which do you feel
Okay,
is
it's check all
needed?
of them.
Oh, you can check all of them if you want.
Okay.
Wouldn't we reformat this one the same way we've been reformatting everything else?
Yeah, not important, very important. I agree.
Okay, so 17, we're going to, so what will the question be? How important is the following types of housing?
How needed?
How needed?
Which type of housing construction do you feel is most important in Londonderry? Please check, or that's just the question.
Yeah, and then they just.
Important, somewhat important, not important.
Or do you go with what Mike just suggested, which is you'd have very, very necessary,
Yeah, that's fine.
needed, not necessary, and I don't want it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Like that, so leave it, instead of which type, how needed is the following
Yeah.
types of housing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we wouldn't have to have none because that'd be included in all the questions. Like if you just put.
Yeah.
not important,
Exactly.
important.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
And it would follow the same style, which is a good idea too. Yeah.
all righty,
Does anyone
So
think,
just-
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
A question on the age-restricted line. It says, in parentheses, typically smaller homes. I don't necessarily think that's a true statement. Typically around here, they're nice-sized homes, going for big money. So I would recommend striking typically smaller
That's a
homes.
good point.
Okay,
Just
Or those are two different things. There's
Yeah.
smaller homes and there's age restricted.
okay, just.
We need one and not the
age
other.
restricted,
Yeah, exactly.
And then I think the infill development, I mean, maybe that's obviously a planning term of art, but even reading the definition, I guess I'm confused, like, how that is distinct from some of these other things.
And where would be an example of that
In-
happening?
In Londonderry, right, we don't have too
That
many
feels very city.
It's a city. yeah,
abandoned-
Exactly.
I can take that out.
Well, infill,
Some of these I thought
never
were
allow you subdivide, I don't know.
accurate.
Well, certainly there are some
I mean, there are,
Were others.
abandoned, sort of
Village style, I know.
underutilized lots.
Well, is it also assuming that you could take an acre lot and
yeah,
split it?
that's what I was gonna say. Infill housing is not abandoned. I'm gonna wait till they're done.
So,
Further down,
So-
it was
Sylvia, what,
like that, too.
what
It wasn't called
decisions
village,
do you
but
need
it
from
was
us?
called with
Do you want me to
playground,
remove
something
infill
else.
development?
It's further down that. Could you move further down this one? Because there's,
Sure. Why don't we go through one at a time? So first there's none, village style. So these are sort of clustered around a green space.
None would actually technically go away if we change the format.
Right.
Because then they would just become not important.
Not important.
Well,
or
yeah,
there'd be a
don't
whole-
want, yeah.
yeah.
Infill, age restricted, we're taking out smaller homes, single family, accessory dwelling units, townhomes or condos, multifamily, two-family, manufactured homes, affordable housing, and that's the definition, assisted living, age-friendly housing, planned unit developments, and cluster developments.
How is cluster developments different than village
yeah,
Yeah.
style?
Yeah.
It isn't really.
Yeah, it's just,
Well, I would think it is. If you have a group of houses on small lots surrounded by green space, the village is more, not just housing, I would picture.
the village like brings amenities almost like the Baldwin.
So village to me is that can be typically it's much more condensed. Cluster is sort of open space, cluster housing.
Cluster like a cul-de-sac?
Like,
Yeah.
Mm,
Both
Well,
of
not
these
really.
could be on a cul-de-sac, but
Yeah.
village, you're
Village has
much
the
tighter.
amenities, yeah.
You're tighter.
Yeah.
It's not
So-
necessarily,
The walkable.
Give an example
concept.
of cluster development in Londonderry would be like a Lorden Commons.
Lorden Commons.
Comments.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I live in
What would be
Lorden
an
Commons,
example
but
of village style in Londonderry,
We
if
don't
we
have-
even have it.
we don't have
have it.
one.
Don't have one.
I think, as speaking as a design,
I guess what I'm getting at is they are certainly different.
they are.
Yeah.
My take on it is similar to the conversation we had about the other thing about land use. People are either going to know or not know these terms, and having the little description is helpful that you put in parentheses.
sure.
And we could do whatever we want, but I wouldn't grind on it because when I read it, I got biased because I do this for a living. I totally got it. If they don't get it, they're going to take a stab at it.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah.
We could probably be here till 10 o'clock to
Oh,
argue
Oh,
about each
absolutely.
term.
Yeah.
I think that's just the reality, and
That's a good point.
it's like land use, If you're a zoning board, you know land use or planning board, but
Should you,
but if you don't,
should we also order them in alpha order?
Alphabet.
I just don't want to kind of make the perception that we're,
I would randomize it
or randomize
Yeah,
it,
if
or,
you-
you know, just definitely just
I
kind of.
believe our team has randomized things so that people don't always just pick the top thing.
Put the densest top.
That's really
Got it, okay,
So
all right,
that's
so.
what we've done.
Oh, okay, that's actually a great.
That's really
So,
smart.
so every
Yeah.
question, you know,
I think
got it.
so.
Okay.
What is the place by Shaw's?
And I know you were talking about removing infill, but my head immediately goes to, I made a wrong turn going into Hannaford's parking lot a while ago and took that road that was right in front into down to that cul-de-sac. Exactly, and I turned around, I'm like, where am I and what is this?
The cul-de-sac, if you go through a police ride-along, you know, is a crime center.
Oh, yeah.
That's,
And-
Yeah,
and
so
it-
that's
it backs up to the
Village.
apartment
Right,
building.
Century
I
Village.
think the infill is really subdividing of lots. It's not really replacing dilapidated houses. That's not what it is. It's me having 2 acres. I'm in a place where zoning says I can have a 0.8 acre. I can sell half my property, make a bunch of money, and you can build your house. That's infill.
All right, so are we good with?
That's
so-
my take on infill.
So we're good with 17 though, right?
I'm hearing that it'll work itself out.
Reformat.
Yeah,
Reformat it.
reformat. Can you go back up to info really quick, just with that definition? I'm wondering.
We're reformatting this to the needed, right?
All right, info.
Okay.
I think
Do we
older multiples only.
do we want to put housing in that description, or housing lots, or is this business lots? Is this what zoning is this? Is this residential
This
zoning?
is housing construction.
Commercial
Housing.
housing.
This
Perfect.
whole
Never mind. Then ignore that big title up at the top.
And not to prolong it, I just have one other comment too. When you had talked manufactured housing, I would say on this board, we probably think mobile homes in general are
Right.
a negative term. So I would. I think
Yeah,
Just manufactured.
manufactured,
housing,
drop mobile.
Because manufactured housing are
Well-
a variety of different types of
You can
houses.
have
too.
manufactured housing that's really nice.
You can now, and it's
Yeah,
improved
it's not mobile
significantly.
homes.
It's not mobile, and I think didn't you have a presentation on this at the Access thing? Anyway, it's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
No,
mobile
absolutely,
homes have a
that's-
negative connotation.
Yeah, if you just remove the word mobile
Yeah.
from that
Manufactured.
and just do manufactured homes.
Unless you want to specifically
But we
talk
have
about
mobile
good
home
What?
I don't
in
mind.
Londonderry.
But are they really mobile? Like they could be, but does anybody ever move them?
The ones that we're talking about come on trucks and they get put together and
I
they
Yeah,
personally-
modular.
manufactured
They're
housing.
modular housing. Yeah,
modular manufactured housing,
yeah,
right?
exactly,
So.
It's not mobile.
exactly.
Anyone's going to be
So-
asking
so-
for
So
more
we
mobile
have the-
homes.
So the
the
question
mobile
is,
homes.
He's
so,
got a
okay,
good point
folks,
that they're different things.
They are.
I
Yeah.
mean, people probably used to find manufactured housing to be just mobile homes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because
Two
they came
totally
out of a
different
truck.
items now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the question is, do we have,
Both?
yeah, both, either break it out or just
You
remove
just
mobile or?
because you just mobile.
Just mobile.
Remove mobile.
Remove mobile.
No, remove mobile.
Yeah.
Yes,
Move mobile?
yes.
Remove
Manufactured homes.
Manufactured homes.
Manufactured.
Manufactured housing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
But,
So
When
this
I
is the
think mobile
only
home nowadays, I
time
think
I really
RV.
feel I need to push back from this group.
Yeah, I
is
actually do
because
too.
Yeah,
you have mobile homes.
correct.
You have mobile homes. And some people love their mobile home park. They love it.
But they're
That's it.
manufactured.
But they're manufactured homes
Maybe we
now.
need
But
both then.
I don't want to get, here's where, I don't want to get people confused with, I have a single family lot. I've just put a manufactured home on there, which came in 3 different pieces. And I have
Modular.
now just put it together, which is, I don't think manufactured, I think there's another term.
modular,
Thank you.
which is what I'm trying to
So
say.
maybe we
But
should just call it mobile homes.
you should, because
Yeah, you just mobile
people-
homes.
How about,
As
So-
small homes? Small homes are on trailers too, and are they the same thing as a mobile home?
No, they're not. But I have just correspondence from somebody who works in these homes communities, and she exclusively manufactured housing community is the way that she references it now.
And I think there's a statutory definition, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because there's statutory protection for manufactured homes.
housing.
Yeah.
That's true.
That is true.
So
All right, you know what?
manufactured homes.
I think,
I'm sorry.
obviously, we're not going to have this in time for Saturday.
What are you talking about? I spent the past 3 weeks making sure we'd have this in time for Saturday.
You all have given us so many changes. I can't say to you, I'm gonna do these changes tomorrow, and I need all of you to give me a thumbs up by tomorrow night, and then I'm gonna have my staff somehow manage to print me out postcards and posters with the QR code, all of what has to happen.
Well, I think we're
Right.
giving you the thumbs up right now. you
Yes.
know?
Well-
This is what we're
So-
doing, is we're going line by line,
Hold
giving you
on,
the
hold
thumb
on,
up or
hold
change
on.
it.
Yeah.
If, yeah. so
But
if we're
she's
not
saying that
comfort-
all the changes with the formatting, is that what you're saying?
I'm just.
That's a
No,
lot.
I
that
think
we're
what-
asking.
No, she's
I
saying
think
there's no
what
My
time for us
staff
to
can
review.
do this
Oh.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then, all right,
You don't
I'm
have to
gonna
come back.
send it to
You don't have to
Jeff.
come back to
Yeah,
us.
you don't have to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
I'm
have to
gonna
come
send
back.
it to Jeff to verify we have made the changes. Is that
I-
fair, Jeff?
I fully trust Jeff.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Is that all right with you?
Absolutely, as long as, if we're definitely ready, for Saturday with the QR codes, postcards,
I'm gonna have a couple posters. I can't promise postcards.
okay, no worries.
That's
So-
fine.
Yeah,
Oh, my word.
yeah, I'd rather, yeah.
We just can't miss Old Homes Day. I think it's too big of an, it's the
It's a
only
hu-
time of year we have the turnout we
Okay,
do.
okay, I'll make it happen. And then, so-
Like it, Sylvia.
So Jeff, yeah.
You're going to remember us, aren't you?
Oh, my word.
Obviously, you haven't done this
So-
in 18 hours, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna leave, am I taking out manufactured now? Or what am I doing here?
Manufactured homes.
I would, and if you want to capture the mobile homes that everybody's thinking of, maybe add word community to it. Manufactured home community.
No,
a new one.
just leave
But-
that like
That's
that.
manufactured housing community is what she normally references as that. So if that's what we're thinking, rather than the manufactured housing that.
You know what, I'm
put
gonna
together
do?
for a $500,000
I'm
home.
gonna have, I'm gonna check in with my team to see what their professional opinions are about.
Perfect.
Cool, sounds good.
Excuse me.
Question 18.
All right, hold on,
How many are there?
funny throat thing happening.
28.
All right, let's get through it.
Let's go through it.
Sorry. All right, the growth thing,
Basic.
thank
Yeah.
God. All right,
19.
let's see,
Good.
Yes.
Good.
okay,
Yep, I like that.
20.
all right, this is the whole age in place. We did add, or a younger person caring for an older family member. There was some concern about that. So those are, and this is really about services.
Are we gonna change that to
same
important, not
format.
important?
Yeah, same format as the important, not important.
Okay. Oh, you're killing me here, man. 21.
What is it that, I mean, does this mean the town's gonna get these people these services?
So,
Depending on.
Martha, you got to
so this would say, instead of what key elements would improve, how important would each element be
Perfect.
for them to stay?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
That's perfect. That's
Absolutely.
what we want, actually.
What are the most important housing issues that town departments and boards should prioritize?
That was an essay.
There we go.
right? I can't see from mine. It was an essay, yeah.
This is a fill-in.
Yeah.
And then I believe that is,
Yeah, it just pops back to 13.
oh,
Yeah, that's the end.
Answer them, it goes to the next.
I
page.
think there should be the last one.
Oh, I never got to it.
Yeah, I couldn't get past 22.
Yeah, I didn't get
The-
past that either.
It kept popping back to the beginning of that
Okay,
page.
so there's a weird thing. The last one is, if you're interested,
Yeah, fill
Oh,
out your name.
yeah.
fill
so
out
that's
your
fine.
name.
Okay.
When I did it,
Well, maybe I did get to it, because I remember seeing it.
I did get to
What
that
it,
I
too.
saw
what it
that.
is
Yeah.
if
Because you
you're,
filled
if
it
you're
out.
just trying to look at it, it doesn't let you get to the last page, but
Oh.
if you go and click stuff, it'll let you go to.
Because
the
I actually put
Oh,
a fake,
maybe
I put a
that's
fake
it.
email like, I said, Joe something, Londonderry, at londonderry.com.
I put your email.
I know where you live, so you better watch it. But I did put a fake email just for fun.
no, that didn't work.
Oh.
All right,
It did work, though. I did
but,
remember seeing that.
yeah, I did see it when because I
Yeah.
just pretended the whole
Because
time.
we were filling it out. They weren't filling it out, they were
Yeah.
just looking.
Oh, no, I filled it out.
Yeah,
filled it
I
out.
started to, and
All right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
But
that's
by
a
the way,
lot to
Sylvia-
remember.
yeah.
You guys want to
Okay.
fix that when you actually do the survey, in case somebody wants to skip a question.
Because I think one of the issues is if you skipped a question, you can't get to the next page, the way it's set up right now,
Or get to
Is
that
that
last.
a
To the
bad
last
thing?
page.
the last page.
Yeah.
Is that a bad thing?
Well,
Because we want them to fill out all the questions.
Yeah, but are they gonna realize that's what the problem is?
It doesn't like highlight what you haven't filled out though, like
Yeah.
when you,
Yeah.
right?
That's,
And-
that's kind of the, so
But-
there's that aspect, and then
All right.
Will it let you
Give up
submit?
if
Will
you
we get the
don't.
Yeah.
responses?
You have to go back.
if people do wanna like skip around, now we obviously kind of neutered the thing to kind of, hope that the majority of the questions do get, you know, answered and filled out.
Yeah.
So maybe, skipping is gonna be less of an issue if, you know, but it's still one of those things that, we should at the very least look, confirm that, why is, what question is holding someone going?
But I
moving
think, Mr.
forward.
Chair, I think if somebody wants to go and fill out 5 questions and bug out, they should be able to do that.
I agree.
If we're gonna fill everything out, like when I filled it out, it took me 5 or 6 minutes total. I actually typed stuff in
Yep.
in the boxes.
Yeah.
I think we should give, we should not keep them from just putting,
Right.
if somebody goes through it and it goes, I only care about question 3, 4, 8, and 12, that's fine,
Right,
Yeah,
so my
I agree.
question then is, so,
right? I mean,
right, so, but if someone goes and does 8, 12, and 13, whatever, and then they X out, do we still collect that data?
right, no, they should be able to collect the data.
Yeah, I'm not
Right, we
sure
sh-
the way that
yeah.
it's set up.
Right.
I do. You can't
I
get to
think
the
they should
last
be able to
page,
get to
so.
finish without, I think they should be able to get to finish without answering
I
everything on the
hear
page.
you.
If they choose
I
to
will
not
check
to.
in with my staff to make sure that can happen. So just so you know, it's gonna be me and Tammy. I have no idea how to do this on that, so I'm relying on Tammy and crossing fingers that she can make this happen. She's much savvier than I am. But my 2 other experts in SurveyMonkey are on vacation. So I'm really crossing fingers that Tammy can do this.
Just give them a call, let them
Yeah.
know it'll take 20 minutes.
Well, if you need
You're
assistance,
so funny.
Sylvia, if you need assistance, I have experience. with
Well,
SurveyMonkey.
mostly, anything, Chrissy, you can send me as far as. just,
Absolutely, I'll get you a
for
draft copy.
notes, That would really be helpful. I've got my own scribbles here. There's quite a few changes here, substantial changes. And Jeff will hopefully send you by noon, the trial run.
I have a meeting at noon, so if you wanna take at 1 o'clock. that's
Okay,
fine.
1 o'clock then? Yeah. All right. I think we're done with this?
So a general question, can I take this survey as many times as I want?
Vote early and vote often, I guess, right?
If I want to, if I've got nothing
Typically-
better to do, can I take it
typically-
25 times?
I think it's 1 per,
You-
computer.
One per
Which
IP
can
address?
have a problem at libraries.
Oh.
But I'm not positive of that. I'd have to ask that of Tammy as well.
When we do it in our office, because we do them for staff, somebody else mentioned, you mentioned, John, I think you did it for your staff or somebody last time. Once you do it once, you can't do it again.
right,
Right.
It goes by IP address.
That's good. That's
right.
good.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, the one we took wasn't sort of really live, so I did take it
Exactly.
twice just to see how it is, but,
Yeah.
but, I'm not sure, but your library, you're right, you could have an issue.
We can hire some people
That's above my ability to know that. but,
Right, right.
Well, I'm
All
glad-
right,
I'm-
we're all
I'm-
set on this.
Yes.
I'm glad that this is in Tammany Hall, so.
Goodness gracious. Okay,
My computer.
She's gonna quit.
what's last,
So the last is review schedule for Old Home Day booth. Well, actually, we have determined next meeting dates as well.
right. All right, let's talk about the schedule for the booth. So right now, what I've got, Kirsten?
You got it.
Kirsten has volunteered to put up my personal tent thing, canopy. And I have my table from home. I'll bring my own chairs. I have bought the BJ size of Tootsie Pops and all of that kind of thing. I've got now 200 of those color-in sheets. I've got all the color markers. We won't have hard copies of the survey. I don't have that. but we'll have that QR code, all fingers crossed on that. So posters, we'll have the map, we have pens and all of that kind of thing.
We have
So
some
I've-
sort of banner naming the booth?
I don't have a banner naming the booth. I'm hoping that Tammy can come up with something tomorrow. She's very clever. And what else? So what we have so far, Christy, you and I are setting up. I
We'll
have
also
to,
have the help of a 5-year-old.
excellent, my first colorer of the day. So
Absolutely.
that's great.
Yes.
What time's set up?
10:30.
Friday night.
Well,
I was gonna
here's
say,
the
we're doing
thing.
it Friday, I would assume we're doing it tomorrow night.
We could.
I have been told I need to be there, I think by 9,
Well-
8:30.
I mean, I'm usually on the common by like
I
7.
have to be,
so
I have
I'll
to be there around, I think, wait a minute.
I don't think the road closes until like
9:45,
Yeah.
10:45.
10 o'clock.
No,
No,
it's,
no, the road
Parade
closes
starts
before
at
that.
10.
Kirsten told me, and
it's like 9:30 or 9:45, isn't it?
Yeah.
it's painful.
Do we have access to the Google Doc that we could pull up?
Leave 8:30, so I need to be there by 9:30, she said.
Okay.
And so I will be there around 9:30. And I've been told you have to go the back way because everything will be closed. So I'm going this back route to some parking lot.
North School, is that where?
No.
Yeah,
Or Matthew Thornton?
yes, exactly.
Thornton?
There's this little thing.
Yeah, okay.
So back in there, and then we're very close. We'll be next to the library and the senior center, so we'll be between the two of them. Thank you. So, Christy and I start, Jeff and Martha, well, you'll be there, and depending, on how busy it is, I'll either stay or go, depending, on that. Then we have Marge and John, and then we need to break down the table, so I think we need another helper for Marge and John. I need my, I
pretty much
can't go
just-
back.
I pretty much just planned on being there for the majority of the duration of the day.
If you can help, especially on the breakdown.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I'll get my stuff from Kirsten on Monday.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So all of the stuff will be mine, so if there's any question, well, whose is this? It's gonna be mine. So, you don't have to worry, and that's about it.
Do you have a box to put all your stuff in?
I'll have several bags, I'll have stuff.
Bag lady.
Yes, yeah.
So that my notes are right, Jake, are you helping with the setup or just the tear down?
I'm
You're just gonna
I'm
be
gonna be-
there
yeah,
if,
I mean, most of my
Perfect.
day of my entire life of Old Homes Days has been on the common at about 7 a.m. and there until
Perfect.
God knows when, so.
okay.
Yeah,
But most certainly, you can consider me taking everything down and I'll take it and give it to Kirsten. You can, if you wanna dedicate something
Perfect.
to me, you can do that.
Sounds good, thank you.
Excellent.
yeah, a couple of us are committed to other tents, and that's why we didn't. Mr. Chair, I think for the dates for meetings, we have that, I saw that, the poll,
Doodle.
the doodle poll, I couldn't spit that out, thanks. Come up, I would just pick those dates. I don't know that we're gonna be able to hash them out tonight.
No. Yeah, no, it was
And
just-
the question is, are we gonna continue meeting weekly, or are we going bi-weekly?
So my kind of
Weekly's
jumping,
kinda
yeah, definitely
intense.
jumping to that point. I want to have a meeting for next week. I already talked to talked to staff about it. It's just to debrief on Old Home Days, and then mostly then looking at cutting it down to biweekly, mainly because we're going to be in the survey gathering phase. The other agenda item I would want for next week is is to also confirm other outreach activities,
Yes, absolutely.
and obviously to drive surveys, and if possible, having an update on what's the fill out rate of surveys.
Well, that'll be premature, but yeah.
Premature,
I don't know that we are gonna have time to do a lot of analysis between
I feel like
Saturday
there
and
could-
Thursday.
Well, I just want to know how many surveys were filled out. I don't
Yeah,
necessarily want to know.
we can do that.
I don't want to know, and actually, it's not, we shouldn't even be looking at that data until
Yeah.
the
It's
survey
complete.
closes. But yeah, I just want to kind of get a sense of
We'll
how
have a
many-
number.
how many surveys are filled out.
Hopefully by then we'll have it, Mike, like a postcardy type of thing for you to put on your website and things that you guys can put on Facebook or wherever you will be going.
Once we get through this week, we can really step up those efforts.
What day next week for the meeting? Thursday? again?
Thursday at 6.
And
6 o'clock,
6?
right?
6 o'clock.
Thank you.
Should we set an end date to the survey?
What was the suggestion? Because we're going, what,
6
6
weeks.
to 8 weeks?
6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks.
So that would be like, I would say September 30,
So.
whatever
October
the,
1st.
let's look
October
at,
1st will be the end of the,
let's look, September 30, what day?
Yeah, October 1st sounds good.
So this room may be booked next week. There's this
There is-
Heritage Commission special meeting.
There's heritage and there's demo delay, so it
The
may.
location, we'll
to
confirm
be
the
determined.
location.
We'll do a TBD
Yeah.
for location.
So you'll send out a notice?
Yep.
Mr. Chair, if I can make one comment when we're done with that?
Is it possible to meet earlier on Thursday here?
I mean, that's up to,
We could do one meeting a little earlier on Thursday and have the room?
we'll find space one way or the other.
Right, yeah, I think, when I was talking to staff, I think finding the space wasn't, well, I mean, we can look at a different day, but my understanding is that, actually what you just said, we'll find the space, we got the
Okay,
space,
so we'll stick to the 6 to 7:30 time slot.
Yeah, I would really like to kind of keep that
Consistent.
consistent.
Sure. Understood.
Lynn?
All right, so right now tentatively to October 1 is what you're saying, which is a Tuesday.
I think if it gets to a point where it dies off and you're getting, 5 applications or 5 reviews a week, then we can say, all right, we can end it early.
So, Mr. Chair, I just would want to make one more comment before we adjourn, and that is, last week I had mentioned about reaching out to the school board and the school administration staff. I did send an email out to Dan Black and to Bob Slater, and I got a very enthusiastic response back. And I think at some time within the next month, it would behoove us to send an entourage to a school board meeting just to describe where we're at, what we're doing, and I think they're going to buy into really supporting it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. I think that's a great point. I think also, I think we have an opportunity to meet with the town council that's coming up, and we can
Yeah.
use that as an opportunity to promote the survey in that forum as well.
So Mike, I think that was the general direction from the council, was that they'd like us to come to a meeting.
Yeah, it was a little unclear to me whether that was going to be at a town council meeting or whether it was going to be a meeting on the sidelines. But yes, I mean, I think that's, and I can certainly facilitate a better understanding about what that meeting looks like.
Yeah, that works.
Excellent. The other point to, the other item that we also need to confirm in the coming weeks is the delivery of the rest of the survey. And, and those items, so I don't want to, definitely lose track of that, want to have a nice plan in place on how we're going to collect that data as well. That said, anything else from the public? Seeing none. Anything else from the board?
Good, sir.
Would you like a motion to adjourn?
Absolutely.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Nope, you
Second
got the
by
second,
Mark.
okay.
Please, not everybody.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right.
We are good.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.